This video is going to explain how to complete layout properties and viewports. Let's go ahead and look at our instructions. First thing we're going to do says modify the plan layout tab setup to match the following image. So in order to modify the plan tab, we're going to have to switch over to the plan tab first, because this drawing opens up in the model tab. So we need to switch over to the plan tab. And we definitely have to modify this because something is wrong. This paper is way too small and it is portrait instead of landscape. So we're definitely going to have to fix that. So in order to modify the layout, we have to go to Output. See the Output tab here in the ribbon. And when we click on Output, we have some new tools here in our ribbon. The one that we're looking for here is Page Setup Manager. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Page Setup Manager. It's going to bring up this window where I'm going to go ahead and click on Modify right here. Go ahead and click on Modify. That brings up this window. And I'm going to go ahead and use the settings in this picture to help me complete the plan. So I can see here, make this a little bigger. I can see here that it's saying to change the name of the printer to DWF6eplot.pc3. So I'm going to go ahead and find that. DWF6eplot.pc3. Next thing it asks me to do is change the paper size to ISO A3. It's on A4 right now. ISO A3 420 to 297. ISO A3 420 to 297. It says here to ignore the numbers here and just check center the plot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It looks like plot scale hasn't changed. These two things are the same. Same thing with plot style. That's the same. Shaded viewport. That's all the same. Plot options. These checkboxes are the same. But here, drawing orientation, this should be on landscape. Okay. Landscape is selected. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Got to click close. And now this paper fits perfectly to where the frame is for this drawing, which is very good. Exactly what we want. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next setting here. It says create a new layout tab based on and located after the existing plan layout tab and name it kitchen and desk. So they're just asking us to make another copy of this tab, which we did in the last assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that name. If you forgot, or maybe you're doing this out of order, that's okay. To make a copy of a tab, these tabs are down here. I'm going to right click on this tab to make a copy of it. Right click. I'm going to click on move or copy. And then just make sure that at the create a copy checkbox has been selected. I'm going to make sure create a copy is checked before I click OK. Now I have a copy of plan. I know that it's a copy because it has the number 2 after it. So I'm going to go ahead and select that tab, right click it and click rename so I can give it its new name, which is going to be kitchen and desk. So right click, rename. And now I have 3 tabs. Model tab, which we always have because that's where our drawing goes. And then we have 2 layout tabs, kitchen and desk and plan. We're on the tab kitchen and desk. Next thing it asks us to do is create two matching vertical layout viewports using the command shortcuts to match the image below. So in order to do that, I am going to select this viewport here. I know it's a viewport because it has a blue border here. And when I hover my mouse over that blue border, it highlights. So I'm going to go ahead and hover my mouse. So I get that dark highlight there. Click on it to select it. And then I'm going to click the delete key with my keyboard to make that layout viewport go away. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type in VIEWPO for viewports, VIEWPO, and press enter. And that brings up the viewports window. This window will let us choose this option right here, which is the two vertical option. Puts two viewports vertically, just like the instructions told us to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. It still wants us to draw this in somewhere on the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in, clicking these two opposite corners here. Top right, bottom left. Top right, click, bottom left, click. We've got our two vertical viewports here. Let's see what the instructions wants us to do with those. Adjust the scale and view of the viewports to match the image shown below. Zoom in on each viewport to match to focus on the kitchen in the left and the desk on the right. Okay, so the first thing it wants us to do is just go ahead and on the left, don't forget to double click inside of your viewport so you can start moving around. On the left, it wants us to zoom in on the kitchen. On the right, it wants us to zoom in on the desk. Just like that. Don't worry too much about how things are lined up because it's going to change here shortly because we're going to go ahead and put in our scale. So next thing it says is add a custom viewport scale of 1 to 15. Adjust the scale of the left viewport, which is the kitchen one, to 1 to 20, and the right viewport to 1 to 15, and reposition them to match. All right, so on the left, I'm going to go ahead and go to scale, change it to 1 to 20, and just make sure that kitchen and window are nice and centered. On the right, I'm going to change this one to 1 to 15. Now it said create a custom scale here. I'm guessing that in the edition of AutoCAD that came, or in the edition of AutoCAD that they used to create this assignment, 1 to 15 wasn't already listed. It is on the 2022 edition. So if I needed to create my own custom viewport, like 1 to 14 isn't on here, I would click on this button here for custom. I would click the add button and I would name it. A good name would be 1 to 14, I would imagine. That'd be a pretty good name. And then I would just do in scale properties here, 1 to 14. When you click OK and click OK, now 1 to 14 is there. Now, I don't want 1 to 14, so I'm going to delete that. So I'm going to go back to custom, select 1 to 14, and click delete. Click OK. What I do want, though, is 1 to 15, like the instruction said. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that desk is lined up right in the middle. I'm going to lock both of these viewports. And in order to submit to Canvas, I'm going to make sure that I zoom to extents by either clicking the zoom to extents button, clicking the middle mouse button twice, or typing the word zoom, hitting enter, and then typing the letter E for extents and clicking enter to zoom to extents. Either one of those will work. Once you have zoomed the paper in to extents, meaning that it fits perfectly here on the top and on the bottom, go ahead and take your screenshot. Don't forget to sign in so I can see your name up here on the top right, and then submit that to Canvas. As usual, I hope this video helped. I will see you on the next one.